Alright, as you can probably tell from the title, we're going to be making some pistol hangers. They're great for hanging in your gun safe, or your gun cabinet, or wherever you happen to store your firearms. Now, when we're done, they're going to look something like this. And what they do is they hook onto the bottom of your shelf like that, and you hang the gun like that. Now, this is not a new design, but they're online, and I believe the one 4-pack is about $24, give or take. They're not cheap, and in reality, all this is a bent piece of metal rod, so they're very easy to make. And the one nice thing about making them yourself is you can change up the dimensions a little bit. So some of the ones I saw online, the reviews said basically any gun with over a 4 or 5 inch barrel would not fit. So if you have, say, a 6 or an 8 inch barrel, or just something that's longer, you know, like a revolver or something, you can make them longer to accommodate that gun. So why don't I switch the camera around and I'll show you how to do it. Alright, so here we are, and basically what you're going to do is, to start out, you're going to take some, I have 3/16 steel rod. For my application, that's what I'm going to use. If you can find different size, as long as it'll go down the barrel of your gun, it'll work. And you have to be able to bend it. You can really make these pretty cheap. I'm going to make them for about $3 to $4 a piece, give or take. And you can probably make them even cheaper if you can find a better price on the steel rod. So they're really inexpensive to make, and you can find the measurements online for different sizes depending upon what kind of gun you have. Like I said, not really reinventing the wheel, just making it a little bit cheaper and customized. So for my dimensions, I'm going to start out by measuring out at 20 inches and make a mark, and we're going to make our first cut. I'm going to use a Dremel and possibly the hacksaw finish. You can use just about anything you want to cut, just got to be able to cut through steel bar. So alright, so we made our first cut. Now what you want to do is take it out of the vise, and you're going to want to start to make your marks for your bends. So your first bend, you're going to make the bend for which the pistol's actually going to hang off of. Now a good length to go with for most guns is going to be about 4 inches. So we're going to measure 4 inches. That's going to be our first bend. Now we want to give about an inch length for the 90-degree bend. So we're going to give that an inch. So what we'll do is we're going to bend each of them at a 90-degree angle, and then we'll have our hook that the gun will hang off of. Should look like that. A couple ways you could bend. You could just do it brute force, pair of pliers. I prefer to use a little bit of heat just because it makes it a little bit easier and it's a little more controllable. You want to make sure you bend right here. Definitely having it in a vise helps. So let's bend some metal. Whoever said gun channels are overkill. Alright, so we pretty well got it heat up. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the heat. And we're going to make our first bend. Alright, so we got our first bend. Alright, and then what you want to do is then you want to bend the second point. Now I'm going to save you the trouble of watching me heat up and make all these bends, and we'll check back once the bends are made. For your second set of bends, what you want to do is you want to measure the shelf that you're putting this on. Now mine is about a 1/2 inch thick, so I only need about a 1/2 inch between my first and second bend. So my first bend is going to once again be at the 4-inch mark. That means it'll hang over the shelf about 4 inches. And then I'm going to go about a 1/2 inch past that, maybe a little bit over, just to give it a little bit of wiggle room. And that'll be my second bend. Alright, so we've got our bends made. Now, when you're making your final bend for the part that's going to hook onto your shelf, the important thing is you want to give this a little bit of a bend inward. You don't want to go past 90 degrees, because that way what's going to happen is when it goes on your shelf, it's going to provide a little bit of tension, so that if you've got a particularly heavy gun, it provides a little bit of tension from it bowing down and there being any kind of sagging. So that's just a quick little thing now to keep in mind. Now, the one thing that I do differently is some people just put a little like rubber end cap so that you don't scratch your gun, because the whole thing's gonna get plastic dipped when we're done. But I actually found that if you take a cheap pen like this, that they slide over quite nice and provides a nice sleeve for your firearm to slide onto. Now they're really easy to make. Literally all you do is take apart a cheap pen, and I'm going to measure it out to be, they're about 4 inches long. Alright, this we're just going to use the hacksaw for. And just like that. Now, I usually like to clean up the end a little bit, just give it a little bit of a nicer look, you know. The kind of thing that no one's ever going to see it, it's never going to see the light of day, and if anybody ever does see it, they're going to be more interested in the gun hanging from it. But for my 2 cents, I'm going to clean it up a little bit. Alright, clean out the end, and we're just going to slide it on. You can use glue if you want to, but for me it's a very tight fit, so they don't really need glue. Alright, throw a couple coats of plastic dip on them, These are done in gray. And voila, you've got yourself your very own pistol hanger. And all you do, slide them on your shelf, whatever, in your safe or cabinet, and slide the end of your gun on there, and they hang like so. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I do try and answer them when I can. And if you like the content, subscribe. Have a nice day.